Well, good evening, folks. Welcome to the pre-show of the Intrepid radio program. Glad you can make it out tonight. I see a couple of you in there. Thank you, Morgan Snow. You couldn't stick around, but you said, nice hat. Thank you. That's what I wear into the woods, my hat. So, yes, and Michelle Canham Free says, make your life a walking prayer, a living meditation. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit and what that all means. I got to take my lights down just a little bit because it's very bright in here. There we go. And yeah, so you tell me if I'm being cruel or not. I went and picked up my daughter in the last 20 minutes at their friend's house, and she got in the back seat of the van. And I said, what are you doing in the back? Oh, I'm just going to sit here. And she had stuff with her, and I thought she had a bunch of stuff. We get out of the car, and I'm waiting for her to get out because it's dark on our driveway. And she goes around the back of the van, and she comes out, and she's got a kitty. And I will tell you the rest of the story when we get into the show. For the first few minutes, just icebreaker. And my reaction to seeing another cat being brought to the house without permission. So, hey, everybody. Randall, Steph, good to see you. Michelle Kenham Free, Morgan Snow. We'll be starting pretty soon here. Yeah, you'll have to tell me if you think I'm cruel or not. By my reaction to the kitty. It wasn't violent or anything. Don't even remove that even from your mind. If that crossed your mind. Nothing like that. But my reaction was not a happy one. We got about 35 seconds and we go live on the radio station. That's Odyssey, ODYSY, radio.com. You can tune in over there. If all you can do is listen tonight, you can tune in over there at the radio. There's no chat room, of course. It's just the audio version of the show over on the radio station. Okay, we got about 14 seconds left. I'm going to go dark, and we'll see you right back here.
Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Hey, folks, welcome to the program. I'm your host, Scotty Roberts. Happy Wednesday evening. Glad you could make it out for the Intrepid radio program. We're broadcasting live over on Odyssey Radio. You can go over there, ODYSY radio.com, if you want to hear this show just in its audio format. And if you want to join the simulcast in video over on my YouTube channel and probably the world's best chat room, you come on over to my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Scotty Roberts, and you can join all the other Intrepids that are over there starting to talk now. And I want to introduce you to a little topic. This happened just within the last 15 minutes. I ran to pick up my daughter, my almost 12-year-old daughter. She'll be 12 in about a week, Rowan. And she was at a friend's house, and she said she got in the back of the van. I pulled up to get her, and a friend's farm, and she got in the van, and the friends walked her to the car, and she had big stuff on her lap. And I thought, oh, okay. She had stuff with her. I said, why are you sitting in the back? Oh, I just wanted to ride in the back. I got all this stuff. Okay. Well, we get home about 5 minutes later, and she gets out of the car and goes around the back to get to the house instead of the front of the van. I'm waiting for her at the front of the van because it's a little dark outside. And I see she's got a kitty, and it looks just like Bob Saget, our cat, who's now a year old. And I looked and I said, but he looked a little small. But remember, it's dark out. Same markings. And she said something about, I brought us a new kitty, something to that effect. And then it hit me. This is not who was running around outside. I said, "Oh, no, you didn't bring us a new kitty." I said, "That kitty does not come in the house." Now, you tell me if I was being cruel. I said, "That kitten is about 12 weeks." I said, "That kitten does not come into our house." I said, "You did not ask permission. I do not want the kitten in the house. I don't want the dog and the other two cats to start getting riled up because there's a fourth animal. So we do not need another kitty. So he's not coming in the house." And I got radio in 3 minutes. This was 3 minutes to 9 o'clock. So Rainey, who wasn't feeling well tonight, a little bit of a headache, she laid down early this evening. And I stuck my head in and I said, "You know what?" I said, "Rowan brought home a kitty." I said, "I told her she can't bring it in the house." And Rainey said, "She did what?" And then she got up. She said, "I will go take that kitty back right now." And I said, "I don't want you to have to get up." I said, "But I got to go do radio right now." And I wasn't asking her to. I was going to have Rowan put it in a crate out in the garage or something. And and I'd run it back later. So Rainey went up. So Rainey is out now, dropping a cat back off at our friend's farm. So what would you do? It's no, Steph. It's not in the garage now. I was going to put it in the garage in the crate, and I had about 3 minutes to wrangle that situation. So I was going to tell Rowan, "You're going to have to get the crate. It's a wired puppy crate, pretty big, and you're going to have to go put that in the garage. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me." Boom, boom, boom. You remember where that's from? Any of you who have kids or like animated movies? Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. Think Billy Crystal. Think Mike Wazowski. That should give you good enough hints. We seem to wind up with cats all the time. See, and we just don't have. A house is big, but I don't need another animal in the house, and I don't think any of us needs another animal in the house. It's already the rule for having a cat in the first place when we got old Black Oscar now, who's 16. We got him when I think he was 8 at a shelter. And we can have a cat so long as I never smell him. I do not want stinky cat syndrome in our house. I do not want people visiting our house and picking up cat odor, as in litter box odor. I said, "Oh, Dad, we'll clean it every day." Pull this leg and it plays Jingle Bells. And so then the second cat came in, Bob Saget, and I reinforced that. A second cat, worse than the first cat. Now I like Oscar. Oscar's mellow old cat. He just lays around, does nothing. And poops in his box, pees in his box. Unless somebody closes the door to where his box is, he'll pee in the laundry, which I don't like. But and he's old, so. But the rules were broken with the second cat. I said, I reinforced the litter box smell rule. Do not come into my house and smell litter box. It was the rule. And I said, if I smell litter box, the first day I smell litter box, those cats are gone. Of course, I've not enforced that. So I smell litter box every now and then. And I hate it. I hate that smell. I've had friends over the years where I go to their house and you walk in, the people who have the cats, and you walk in their house and you go, they have probably 8 cats. And I hate that smell. I want my house to smell like sage or frankincense or something like that. So anyway, that's going on right now. We'll hear how that plays out. And hey, Unleashed Jeremy Henson, welcome to the chat room. Steph Cuervo Queen is here. Roger Rabbit is here. And John Piper is here. Good to see you. Randall Flagg, Michelle Canham Free. Who else? We got Ryan. Our internet sucks here in this small town. Every now and then, at least once a day, it just turns off and then it reboots and comes back up. Our modem. And there's nothing wrong with our modem. It's just the internet company. So there you go. I'm glad you stuck around. We still got a few of you watching here. It looks like everybody's still here. If you hear me, put up your hand. Let me know you're there. So I was in the middle of telling you a story. Hey, Jason is here. And what happened? Frozen video, no audio, said John Piper. Well, you saw something. That's good. Yeah, probably cat fume inundation, says Michelle Canterbury. There we go. I saw Steph make a comment. So we're to catastrophe. So, yeah, so that's it. That's all there is to that story. My daughter brought home a kitty without permission, and I would not allow it in the house. She snuck it home. That's why she got in the back seat when I picked her up. She had it all wrapped up in something. And I thought she had a bunch of stuff on her lap, like a duffel bag or something that she had come from school or something like that to her friend's house. So, all that to say, if you think me cruel, I don't care. I'm sorry, but I make no apologies. She got out of the car and showed me that she had, I've got a new kitty. And I'm like, oh, no, you don't. So the kitty is not coming in the house. And I was going to have her, as I mentioned earlier, those of you who joined us, run and get the dog crate, and she could have brought it out in the garage with a couple of blankets, put it out in the garage for the night. No new cats in this house. And we were talking about cat smell. That's the rule I made when we got a cat. As soon as I smell kitty litter box, cats are gone. I do not want my house smelling like kitty litter. Boom. Meow, says Steph. So, hey, Sarah Yusuf, good to have you here. All right, everybody, let's get into it. Now that we're back online, and I don't think we'll have another mishap with the cable box or the internet box. That happens about once a day. It just turns itself off and turns itself back on. That's the internet company we have. So I agree with you about the smell, says Annette Keenan. Absolutely. I'm an animal lover. I am a cat litter box hater. I'm a cat scratching my furniture hater. And we do not need multiple cats. We've already got 2. That's enough. One old, quiet old man cat and one young, stupid, shit for brains, spastic 1-year-old cat. So, Bob Saget by name. So there we go. No kitties in my house, says Annette. You're after my own heart. So I do not like litter box smell at all. So anyway, I could say that 10 more times and not emphasize it enough. So we got 2 kitties, and that's enough. And Lucy Fur, the pug mini English bulldog. So did you see my comments, Scotty? We're good. No problems to have. We're good, RE. Good problems to have. Did you see my comments, Scotty? RE. Good problems to have. I don't think I did, Michelle. Scrolling backwards. Cat fume inundation. I saw that one. We keep going backwards. Frozen. A part of me envies all of this, says Michelle. These are good problems to have, Captain. Yeah, smelly cats. Smelly cat, smelly cat. It's not your fault. So says Steph. And if all of you except Steph and I can name where that came from, you get a gold star today. So I do want to be the bearer of really heart-wrenching news. And I start lighthearted to keep my mind off of it because it's right under the surface. But you all know my dear friend Ruben Fasthorse, who has been a guest on this show many times, friend of mine for 25 years. And Ruben is in rough shape right now. If you saw my post on my Facebook page and my Instagram, Ruben, if you remember, folks, if you're a regular listener to this show, about 10 months ago, he had a head injury. If you remember, when he had half of his head was shaved, and he had that big stitches going all the way up into the top of his head. He had his wife, Susie, told me last night when I talked to her that they have a sticky bathroom door. It sticks in the wood in the frame. And in the middle of the night, Ruben got up to use the bathroom, and he's pulling on that door, and it wouldn't open. He pulled it, and he yanked that door right into his head. He was positioned just right, knocked him out, knocked him on the floor, and she found him there. He was bleeding. Of course, ambulance, ER, all of that. They had to cut open his head and drain blood off of his brain. Now, this is about 10 months ago. Rudy, I have not heard anything today. I called Susie today and haven't heard. But apparently, and Susie she's a very strong woman, but very emotionally at wit's end right now. And she said just about 10 days ago, a little bit more, that Ruben apparently had done something very similar. He told a story in the morning of hitting his head again and falling on the floor and passing out. And when he woke up, he crawled back into bed and didn't say anything. She said, well, maybe we should take you to the ER. And he said, no, I'm good. And then as we were talking, she said, I'm not sure if that actually happened again, if he's remembering that wrong, or if something else happened. Now, they had to take him in. He was, that same day, apparently, according to Susie, Ruben had, she found him in the laundry room, just standing there, and asked what he was doing. And he said, I'm looking for the bathroom. So there's some disconnect. And she was a little worried. And then he said he was hungry. He walked out. She sat down and she got something and set some food down in front of him. And he said, he looked at it and he said, what is this? And she said, that's your food. And he said, I don't know what that is. And right away she said, there's a problem. And she immediately took him into the ER again. And she's got some physical or some, I think, neurological problems going on as well. And she had to go in too. And while she's in seeing her doc, they airlifted Ruben from where they live in Warwick, New York, into the city to the hospital. And then they had to cut into his brain again and drain all kinds of blood off of his brain. So he had blood on the brain. They gave him a drug which you probably, those of you in the know, have heard of it. I don't know what it is. It sounded something like propylene or propylate. It had that kind of sound. And it's something that deadens your... they needed to put the breathing tube down his throat and into intubation. And they put him on that drug. And it, in a sense, also, the way Susie described it, he was kind of in an induced, not a coma. She never used that word, but kind of a paralysis coma type of thing. So they give them that so they don't wake up and pull things out. And now he's been in that condition for 10 days. And she said he has been that whole time unresponsive. But there is also, the doctors have told her a few times, he might just be unresponsive because of the medications we have him on. And the last I heard, she said she got a little bit of good news yesterday that the night nurse said that, and she's been pretty much living at the hospital. The night nurse said that he had a pretty good night last night. Now, I don't know what that entailed, but she said he did much better last night. And they were talking about taking him off the drug and pulling the tubes out and doing brain scans. But they also wanted to see, how he breathes on his own and how everything goes. Now, immediately when she told me that, I got horrid flashbacks. If you remember in my post, I said, this sounds familiar, doesn't it? Because when Uncle Dave, when they had him on similar medication, they had him intubated and a respirator. And when they took him off, they stopped the drugs and they took him off the respirator and they said, let's see how he does on his own. And if he does all right, then we're going to do some brain scans. And because they can't get accurate brain scans apparently when you're intubated or something. And so Susie and I had a pretty good talk last night. And while she's hurting, we were able to talk, and she said, I know what the hope is that he'll be okay. She says, but the realistic side of me says it's not going to happen. She said in the last 10 days, I didn't know it happened this fast, this kind of thing, but she said he has lost so much weight. He's weighing in at about 130 pounds. He's unresponsive. She said he is looks absolutely emaciated, and his right side, his whole right side, is completely dead, unresponsive. And I don't know how they gauge the difference, but that sounded to me, and I asked her, I said, that sounds like he had a stroke. And she said, I don't know. She said, nobody said stroke. But she said, I do believe that they let him go home after his head injury too fast. They didn't follow up with him. And she said, when he had banged his head and they took him in, they had to cut him open, shave his head, cut him open, drain the blood and stitch him back up. And he was home the same day. And so she said, I don't think they gave it enough time. She said, I've been seeing a little bit of cognitive decline that has me really worried. And I said, well, we've seen it here too. I said, on the show. If you've noticed at times, folks, there were times where Ruben was very repetitive. As if he hadn't just said that a half an hour ago. And because he had no recollection of having said it an hour ago. And we chalked that up a little bit to he was having some problems with alcohol. And as a lot of you could detect. But she said he has been dry for several weeks. Hadn't had a drink at all. So, and he was working on that. And so all of this to say, and I have to, if I sound too cold or clinical about this is the only way I can deal with this. Is that we don't know what's going to happen. I have a gut feeling in all these situations I've seen like this, and most recently with Uncle Dave 3 months ago. It does not sound good. May I be horridly wrong. And coming back from the condition he's in right now would just seem to be a miracle. It would be miraculous. Sarah says, sounds like aphasia. I think it's his brain. Yeah, it's his brain. It's his brain. This is what Susie said. She called it initially blood on the brain. And no, it doesn't sound good, Jay, here. It doesn't sound good. And he's got diabetes. He's got the head injury. Susie doesn't think it's from his alcohol use. He wasn't like a raging alcoholic type. He just drank too much. And he wanted to get a handle on it. And so, and this is something about Ruben that he had told me. Do you remember I mentioned this on this show once before? He called me once in the middle of the night. And I didn't pick it up. It was just I was half asleep. I couldn't even function. Oh no, this occasion I did pick it up. There's a couple times he's called in the middle of the night. I generally don't pick it up. When he calls in the middle of the night, it's usually because he's had a few drinks. And I picked it up and he was crying. And he had been drinking. It's about not even 6 months ago. And he said something about the pain. And the initial thing he said was, And usually when somebody is grieving or even drinking, some of the things that come out are the things that you're uninhibited to talk about. And he said something about genetic pain, the pain of his people, the pain that he will never know the life that his ancestors knew, and the pain that his people have gone through, and so on. And we talked for a bit, and he wasn't sober, and so, but he wasn't falling down drunk either. And I said, well, Ruben, we'll talk. Let's talk tomorrow. We did. We talked the next day. Yeah, it was slow bleed, Steph, over several months. And so Ruben had reasons for his drinking. He had sadnesses, deep set, from heritage to family to his ex-wife and his boys who he didn't get to see grow up. She took them to Australia with her when she moved back home to Australia. And Ruben had started to have a relationship with his son. His oldest son is 22, I think, or 23. He's Sam's age. And he just had a baby. His wife did. So Ruben is now a grandfather. And what I gathered from Susie, this just happened. So I don't know if it's Ruben didn't even know that yet. So there it is, folks. That's the condition Ruben is in. I don't know if it has improved, gotten worse, or stayed the same since yesterday. Non-responsive means non-responsive. Generally, when I've heard that term used, it's generally fairly closely linked with no brain activity. But they were going to check and see. There was something, even with Uncle Dave, they couldn't check his brain activity till they had him off those meds and off the respirator. So, yeah, Ruben has been grieving for a long time. And yeah, it might be, Steph, ruptured blood vessels. I don't know. Recovery will be slow. They did tell Susie that if he recovers, that he will probably need nursing care the rest of his life, which is exactly what they said about Uncle Dave. But his was different. There was surgery. They said if he survives the surgery, he will not be able to function on his own. And this is kind of the news they were giving Susie. If he wakes up and regains consciousness and survives this, he will probably never be the same and will need nursing care the rest of his life. So, yeah, he does not want it. Yeah, I think you'd be right about that, Jay, here. Unless you know something I don't know. If you're just saying he's not going to want it. He may be crossing. He might be. And I just said that and I got chills, went all up my back and the back of my arms. When you said he may be crossing and I repeated that, I got that all up my back and my neck and my arms. So, I have to tell you that my two longest, most treasured, dearest friends I've got other friends that are good friends, John Ward, Rocky, other friends. But my two longest standing friends in my life, 25 and 30 years, have been Uncle Dave and Reuben. And I'm not trying to be melodramatic. That song came to my mind about Vimy, the song about Vimy Ridge, where the old man is recounting he and his two friends fighting at Vimy Ridge in World War One. And the last stanza of the song, he says, "Every day I still remember what I told them, my two friends who that day from this earth were torn. Now the craters and the trenches where they died still bear the names of the cities and the towns where they were born. Raise your flask, aim your rifles high. I've had a dream, I've seen we three should have no fear at all. You'll die in Kenora, Billy, you Jim in Winnipeg, and I will end my days in Montreal." Not a perfect analogy, that song, but I think about that. And I hope to God I am absolutely off on that, and we'll have many more days with Reuben. We'll have many more conversations. But I'm getting that deep, deep feeling. So this is why I brought up the topic of prayer for tonight. Because you know me and the things I've talked about on this show. I've talked about, and I've said many times over the years, I said I struggle with prayer. I don't know that I believe it works. I've looked at it from a psychological point of view and a agnostic's point of view. Prayer works if you're a believer. The object of your belief is the thing that makes prayer work. And so when I asked people to pray, I said, keep Reuben in your hearts and minds and say a prayer. What do most people do? We generally tend to use God as our lucky rabbit's foot. We don't usually pray. Most people don't, even religious people. And I'm not talking about going to like Catholic Hail Marys and things. I'm talking about, do we really pray? There are some who do. Most people say they will and they don't. In the Baptist church, the evangelical church, somebody would bring up something. Oh, would you pray for my uncle or my cousin or my son or my whatever? And people say, I'll say a prayer for him. I'll pray for him. Prayer request night. Wednesday night or Thursday nights in the Baptist church, there was always prayer meeting. There was a prayer meeting service, midweek service was prayer meeting. People would bring up their prayer requests. You see it all the time with personalities that have social media. I think of Dave Schrader, Darkness Radio, formerly with Darkness Radio. He throws up prayer requests. And he threw one up for me when I was having my heart surgery. And I've always questioned that. I say, does God hear that? Is there a God who listens to my prayers? Or do I just believe there is a God that listens to my prayers? This can cross Christianity, Islam, Judaism, whatever religion has a deity that listens to prayers in the deity. Thursday night visitation. There it was. We did that on Tuesdays, Elderberry, because we had our midweek service on Thursdays at the big church I was part of. Energetic frequency resonance, says Sarah Yusuf. Steph says, but how we want it exactly is not how it may manifest. It may manifest differently for the way the universe feels, should for some particular reason. And you know what? I've got a whole thing here of 10 things that talk about the difference between prayer and meditation I wanted to focus on tonight. And I can hit those real quick because I used to think they were like the same thing, because David in the Old Testament said, I meditate on God day and night, and he prays unceasingly. And that unceasingly is, as you're walking down the road, the Bible says, or, with your family or whatever, there's always a state of prayer in the back of your mind. And I pray from time to time. I prayed today, for Reuben. And because I struggle with what I really believe about who God is anymore, I called out to the Great Spirit. I called out to God the Father and Jesus, and I wrapped them kind of all in one. Jesus being the Son, the mediator between God and man, as the Bible puts it. And not Catholic, so I didn't pray to Mary. But I always struggle with when I need something so bad that I call out to God, do I need him that I treat God as my lucky rabbit's foot? Oh, I need this thing. Oh, get out the lucky God rabbit's foot and I'll pray. And that might sound cynical, but I think that's what a lot of people do. And so I did pray. It was brief, but I prayed and I said, you know my heart. If you're there to hear my heart, you're there to hear me, you know my heart. And all I said was, I would just ask that you give Reuben back to us. So Jay here says, I never met Reuben Fast Horse. My late husband was Lakota, and his name too was Reuben. So there's an affinity there, certainly. John Piper says, out of a radiant heart for the higher good to be fulfilled. At times the answer is simply no. I learned that very early on in my life. I remember, and I've told you about this before, there was very early on in my life when I was a seminary student or just post-seminary. I was a youth pastor. And a good friend of mine from college, his wife had twins. And they were born and they were not expected to live. And they didn't. They lived a few days and they were gone. But the whole church prayed for them. The whole church came down to the hospital. There were over 100 people at the hospital praying for them. God said, the fervent, effectual prayer of a righteous person avails much. And where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there am I in the midst. Jesus. If you have the faith, you can say to that mountain, be moved. If you have the faith the size of a grain of mustard seed, you could move that mountain, Jesus said. And after all of that and everything I believed and taught and ministered, those babies died. And of course, we all knew, and that's the first time I really learned that, sometimes no is an answer. God has a reason for allowing this to happen. And people would blame God. Why did God make that happen? I said, well, maybe God didn't make it happen. God just did not intervene and stop it from happening. Why? I don't know. But I thought with all the prayer going up, the answer was still no. All those righteous people, righteous in positionally, not necessarily experientially, but positionally, righteous in God. God views you as righteous when you are regenerated. And it didn't give the desired answer. So that was one of the first bricks in the wall for me of saying, I don't think prayer works the way we think it does. Psalm 88, says Sarah. I don't have that in front of me, but Psalm 88 says, I'll read it in the New International Version. It's a song, a psalm of the sons of Korah for the director of music, according to Mahalath Leonath, a maskil of Herman the Ezrahite. And it says this, I don't know how long this is. It says, Lord, you are God, you are the God who saves me. Day and night I cry out to you. May my prayer come before you. Turn your ear to my cry. I am overwhelmed with troubles, and my life draws near to death. I'm counted among those who go down to the pit. I am like one without strength. I am set apart with the dead, like the slain who lie in the grave, whom you remember no more, who are cut off from your care. You have put me in the lowest pit, in the darkest depths. Your wrath lies heavily upon me. You have overwhelmed me with all your waves. You've taken from me my closest friends and have made me repulsive to them. I am confined and cannot escape. My eyes are dim with grief. I call to you, Lord, every day. I spread out my hands to you. Do you show your wonders to the dead? Do their spirits rise up and praise you? Is your love declared in the grave, your faithfulness in destruction? Are your wonders known in the place of darkness, or your righteous deeds in the land of oblivion? But I cry to you for help, Lord. In the morning, my prayer comes before you. Why, Lord, do you reject me and hide your face from me? From my youth I have suffered and been close to death. I have borne your terrors and am in despair. Your wrath has swept over me. Your terrors have destroyed me. All day long they surround me like a flood. They have completely engulfs me. You have taken from me me friend and neighbor. Darkness is my closest friend. It's a pretty bleak psalm, isn't it? Psalm 88. And that's David wrote that. I think it's attributed to David. There were some of his psalms he wrote when he was on the run from Saul. There's some that are attributed to him that may not have been his. Yeah, I thought the same thing, Michelle Canham-Free. Simon and Garfunkel came to mind. There's a prayer that I put up with my post today about Reuben, asking for people to pray, and it's the prayer I learned from him. O great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the winds, and whose breath gives life to all the world, hear me. I need your strength and wisdom. Let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever behold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made, and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise, so that I may understand the things you have taught my people. Let me learn the lessons you have hidden in every leaf and rock. Help me remain calm and strong in the face of all that comes toward me. Help me find compassion without empathy overwhelming me. I seek strength, not to be greater than my brother, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me always ready to come to you with clean hands, and as Reuben would say, straight eyes, so that when life fades as the fading sunset, my spirit may come to you without shame. You've heard him recite that poem before on this show. So, like I say, I hope to God I am premature in my feelings and that Reuben is back with us. Right now, I don't know. I will probably call Susie after this show. I didn't talk to her till 10:30 last night, 11:30 New York time. I called thinking that was Reuben's cell phone. I didn't think he would pick up. I didn't know what was going on even at that point. But I thought I'll at least leave him a message. And she picked up. That was their ground phone in Warwick, New York. And so Jay here says, allow Reuben Fasthorse to go where he needs to go. Where he needs to go. He knows where he needs to go. Yep. He may already be there, for all I know. So, all of that. Before I say that, a couple of people have asked me today, how are you doing? I said, it's right below the surface, just right below the surface. So, I will, Jay, here. I'll give Susie your level. Yeah, transitions are very bittersweet, sure. And it's like I said at Uncle Dave's funeral and his memorial. I said, we grieve not for Uncle Dave, not for Dave. We grieve for ourselves because of our loss. So, again, I don't know what state Reuben is in right now. I fear the worst. So does Susie. She said to me last night, she said, everywhere I look around this house, she said, there is Reuben. He's everywhere here. And she didn't say, she's a strong person, so she didn't say, I don't know how I'll get by without Reuben. Because eventually, after the grief passes, we all get by. But she said, she kind of was short of saying that, but she was like, I don't know what I'm going to do without him. I just want him to be healed. That's true, Michelle. We do not die. It's simply a changing of worlds. And folks, forgive me, I did not get to the topic. We only got 3-4 minutes left on the radio, and then we'll... I don't know if you heard that. That's the dog skittering all over the wood floors upstairs, sliding all over. So, and people yelling and talking, and so I don't know if the new kitty came in the house or not. Something's going on up there. So, monastic tradition, says John Piper. There is 4 types of monastic prayer. Yeah, did you all hear that? Could you hear that? Did the mic pick it up? The living room is right above my head. I hear Rainey up there. Oh, she just used a naughty word. I heard that. So something's going on upstairs. The dog and Bob Saget, Lucifer and dog Bob Saget get along fine, except for brief moments where they don't. Well, that could have been what that was. So, Anita Palmer asks, I wonder when people pass, do they know how much of an impact they have made on our lives? I always try to tell people how much they're loved. Oh, you heard the noise, said Barbie D. There you go. Lifetime after lifetime, you'll be connected, Scotty. Misu, yeah, little brother. And so all of you, I hold out hope that Ruben will still be with us. Maybe that chill I got when I mentioned Jay here said, he may already be. I can't remember what you said, Jay here, and I agreed, and I had that chill go right up my back and my neck. That's that physical kind of chill, and I got it again just now. That happens not because I'm frightened of anything or anything like that. Happened for a reason. So we're going to stick around for the captain's cabin, and may not be a long one, but whoever wants to talk can call in. And if you're listening on radio, you can come over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Scotty Roberts, and find this show. And yes, Michelle Cannon-Free, miraculous events happen every single day. We have 1 minute left before this show goes off air over on Odyssey Radio. And so I want to thank everybody who's out there on the radio for being here and for listening. We didn't quite get to the topic at hand, but we got to it. Another day, we'll talk about the differences and the comparisons between prayer and meditation and what they mean. So, folks, over on radio, I want to thank you for being here. And you know what? Live long and prosper and shalom.
Join us every weeknight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Intrepid Radio Program, a Scotty Roberts Productions broadcast.
Hey folks, this is Scotty Roberts, and this is the Intrepid Radio broadcast. I've been broadcasting for about 20 years now, covering such topics as science, politics, the paranormal, weird science, weird world history, archaeology, and the paranormal. Everything from ghosts to cryptids to creepy things that go bump in the night. So every week I bring you 3 new episodes. Come and join my channel and also be a patron to this site. So see the details below, and we'll see you here. Hey, folks, welcome back. Welcome to the Captain's Cabin. This is our little after show that's not broadcasting on the radio station, a little more informal. And I've got Sarah Youssef has already stayed in the wings. If you want to call in, you can check out the password, not the password, I'm sorry, the link. Just grab this link. I just pasted into the chat room, and you can put that in your browser if you want to call in and talk. And that's it. That's all you need to do. You'll pop up down below. I'll be able to call you up. I'm going to bring Sarah in. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Scotty.
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, much
Good.
like you. So,
Yes.
well, I mean, I was just wanted to, let you know, since you're not officially off, but I mean,
Yeah.
take the host hat half off now. Now that we're in
Yes.
the captain's cabin, because it sounded like you really needed to talk.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to be a good host, but and
The show was fine.
I wanted to present information tonight too, and I never even got to it. So,
well, I mean, this type of stuff is important as well. So, I mean, it's not just you're just spitting out stuff. I mean, there's emotional intelligence as well as
yeah,
other types.
And of course, it had to be the night. 5 minutes in, the internet drops. So
that's just the nature of every good show.
There you go. We got Michael here too. I'm going to bring Michael up too. So what is on your mind tonight, Sarah? What's the first thing you want to say?
Well, I mean, I didn't have
you already say the first thing,
but I just wanted to, kind of pick your brain a little bit more on what you're thinking.
Let's do that. Let's keep that going. And Michael, how you doing?
Feeling rough, but I was going to pop in and tell you that Wendy called me this morning and told me that Ruben was sick or what.
Oops. Here, I'm going to see if I can raise the sound of your mic. I'm not hearing you very well.
He's murmuring too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my nose is all stuffed.
You have a directional mic? Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, let me see. Is that better?
I think so. I just raised your volume a bit too. So.
All right. No, I've been down with something like the flu or something. I've been in the bed for about the past 5 days because we buried my dad Saturday. Then Sunday I couldn't even get out of bed.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, she asked me if I'd seen what you'd posted about Ruben, and I was like, 2023 has been a shit year.
It's been an interesting, jam-packed year for sure.
Well, the good thing is it's only a month and a half and it's over.
Yeah, and then comes 2024.
Yeah. So, grab onto your ankles, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, holy hell. But no, this morning, because I'm still running the fever and stuff, but I had to get up and do some schoolwork. I was listening to you in the background. I'm thinking, between Dave and his brother, then his mom, my dad passing, it's like, Wendy had an operation and then Henry passed. I'm like, what more? Yeah, it all started out with KB. We'll name KB because he started out sick this year. Yeah, we'll blame Ken.
Yeah, he had lung cancer this year,
yeah.
And is out of the danger zone at the moment, and hopefully will be in remission for the rest of his life. Yeah. John Ward, my friend, had lung cancer this year and went through all the treatments and is in remission. So there's been a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Uncle Terry Pitts.
Yes.
Yeah, he had to have cancer and surgery. It's like
right.
Yeah, that's like I told her this morning. I'm like, she said you need to hurry and get better. I said, well, I took everything over the counter I can physically take.
There you go.
To the point where I was having hallucinations. I was like, oh.
Nice. You always know your cold medicines are working when you're hallucinating.
That's what I said. Having the outer body experience. Yeah. Which is kind of freaky, but I think it's between the fever, because I had a really high fever and everything. And they said, oh, you can't mix that. I was like, okay. I said, I just want to feel better. And I'm like,
right.
So, yeah. I figured as long as you mix it with honey, you're pretty good, because it's naturally whatever.
There you go.
Just remember to stay hydrated. You drink a lot of water, flush it out of the system.
Yeah, Pepsi.
Oh, that's not going to hydrate you really well. It's like John Ward used to say, I'm hydrated. I drink coffee all day.
It's dehydratic.
I don't think that's so.
No, the electrolytes is what, which I got some, what do you call it? Like you give the kids or whatever when they're
Pedialyte.
low. Pedialyte.
Yes.
A lot of Pedialyte and a lot of the protein drinks and stuff like that. And and then there's another thing that I guess called the liquid IV. We found them in the Army years ago to get over hangovers. But
hey, by the way, I see Jason hanging in the wings. We've got that same issue we had the other night. It says an announcement came up when you popped in and said your guest, JP, is on an Android Chrome, which has a bug that causes echo. Google is working to fix it. For now, please ask your guest, JP, to wear headphones to avoid echo or use a different browser. We've also informed your guest. There you go. Oh, he's putting on his headset right now. There we go.
It'd be like me. I didn't know how to close down one browser when I first started using StreamYard with you. I couldn't figure out why I kept having loops and echoes.
Yeah.
And I'm a tech guy. And I was ready to throw a laptop and the phone because everything I touched had it. I'm like, no.
Yes. There you are.
All right. Got him dug in. Oh, no.
Oh, he's still working on his headset. There you go.
Oh, quack, man.
There you go. You're good. I hear no echo.
That's what I'm saying. The hoodie he's got on, that's from a guy that's on YouTube. He's called Quack Bang. It's never a war crime.
Bad electrician.
Yeah, never a war crime the first time. Anybody who has ever served needs to go watch his videos.
What's it say on there?
It's never a war crime the first time.
Oh, there you go.
And if you want any lessons on it, ask the Canadians.
Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Like half the stuff in the Geneva Conventions
Hey,
after
Barbie
World
D.
War II is them.
Barbie D's going for the night. Good night, Barbie D. Take care, Scotty, and everybody, she says. Anita Palmer, you're still here. Okay.
Yeah. Anita.
And
I'm trying to feel better, Anita. I really, really am. I'm like I said, I'm hoarse, kind of mumbling, and
right.
Nose all stopped up.
That's what I had, almost 3 months ago now. And the 2.5 months ago, something like that, with the smoking, 3 months.
Yeah.
I caught that in jail, and it caused me to cigarette smoking hurt my throat because of that, and I just stopped. And it lasted about 2 weeks, and then I just didn't pick it up again. Rudy Dog says it's been a long year, or a hard year, between losing some friends and my own health situation, and this time of year has always been a struggle for me as it is. See, now I love fall. I love maybe this is a little paradoxical, the melancholy, the beautiful melancholy of fall. And
like spring, it's one of those transition periods.
Yes,
it's
transitional.
So.
And I was all last week. We had this amazing light from the sky. I was driving around with the kids a couple of times, and I said, "Look at the lighting." It was from a bit of overcast, a bit of sun. Everything on the ground had changed colors already. We're looking at browns and grays and very subdued reds and oranges and all those colors. And then the filtered light made it look like something out of a movie or a painting and it was like that almost all last week. It felt like. John, you live up in this area. I don't know if you noticed that too, that kind of that lighting, but it was so
golden hour,
perfectly Novemberine.
Yes.
Hold on. Wait.
Yes,
Scotty, you get actual fall down there?
Yes, we get actual fall.
I hate
Leaves
you.
and everything.
Are you winter already?
So actually, we're going through this really weird warm snap.
So
and I don't
we
know.
are too. It was almost 70 degrees today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 57 today. We should be certainly sub 30s going into the teens by now.
Are
here.
you? Why am I forgetting this? Are you up near Cooperstown?
So I'm like an hour and change north of there.
Okay,
So,
Cooperstown, New York. Yep.
Baseball
Hall of Fame.
No, you're thinking New York. Okay.
Oh,
so I'm in North Dakota. I'm in North Dakota.
Oh, why didn't I know that? North Dakota. Yeah, you'll get frigid, icy weather long before we get it here. Well, a day or two before we get it here.
How far is that from Spirit Lake?
From where?
Spirit Lake or Devil's Lake? Spirit Lake. Devil's Lake. North Dakota.
Devil's Lake and Spirit Lake. I want to say it's an hour and a half or something. I think south or such like that.
Yeah, I did a month and I got there for the Army, and they said, "Oh, it's not that bad." I'm like, "Yeah."
Camp Grafton.
Yeah, Camp Grafton. I still got.
So, John, how are you doing tonight? What's on your mind?
Oh, I'm doing okay. I just I wish I could say more to give you more words of encouragement with Dr. Rubin, but boy, I tell you, that in itself was a pretty powerful show, just being there.
Well, I'm glad you were here. It's I do get to the place where I am a pretty positive person overall. Now, on the show, maybe some of you would disagree with me. I get on the show and I complain about things, or I gripe, or I whatever, piss and moan. I talk about things that move me, that anger me, that make me happy. I talk about everything. But I think I always try to be who I really am in all of that. You put on a little bit of a facade, a little bit of affectation because you're doing radio and you want people like, hey, welcome to, blah, 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 Ted Knight. You're my generation, John. You know.
Yep, I guess Mary Tyler Moore. Yeah.
Yes. And,
how'd that go again?
He'd say things like, well, on tonight's news, Ted Knight from the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Okay.
Old enough to remember that.
Do you recall who Ted Knight was modeled after?
Yes. He was supposed to be, if you're from up here, you'll recognize his name, Dave Moore.
Yep, yeah.
And Dave Moore was not a goofball. Dave Moore was pretty solid. He was WCCO TV up here for I don't know how many years. Forever. Since I was a little kid until I was in my 20s, I think at least.
He's probably doing radio before both of us were born.
Yes. And he was a mainstay at WCCO TV, which is a big Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota station. And then after him was Don Shelby. Yeah. And then Don Shelby retired, and now you got I don't even know who anchors there now, but
yeah.
He made when I was in high school and college, it was where did my brain synapse just went Don Shelby. Guy before me. Dave Moore.
Yeah, Scotty's on the cold medicine too. Yeah.
I'm on something. So
I always thought you was more of a Dr. Fever from what was it in Cincinnati? What WKRP
Johnny Fever,
WKRP, yeah.
He just passed away.
That's only at Thanksgiving time. When he's got to throw turkeys out of the helicopter.
Yes. I loved the show WKRP in Cincinnati where they were trying to test. They had a state trooper in, and they were trying to show he and the black broadcaster. I can't remember his name.
It wasn't Les because he actually played. Yeah, because he played on Night Court later. Yeah, I know who.
And they were doing a test on live radio of their reaction times for drinking alcohol.
Oh yes.
And the more he drank, the faster
he got. State trooper was clocking them or doing whatever he had to do, and monitoring it all on radio. And Johnny Fever, the drunker he got, the more acute and accurate were his reaction times. So anyway,
he said, "This makes no sense. This makes no sense." Yeah, I remember it. Oh, Tim Reed or Reed.
Tim Reed, was that his name, Randall? But what was his his character's name? He had a wild show. He was,
Les was the weatherman. Then they had
Les Nessman was the weatherman. I remember that.
Lonnie Anderson was there.
Yeah, Lonnie. Yeah, I can't remember what she was like, the secretary, or whatever. And
yeah,
who was the guy that owned the radio station?
The guy that owned the radio station. Yeah, I've seen him in lots of things. What was the radio station? Jimmy something was his name, and
but he always had to answer to his mom.
Yeah, always had to answer to his mom. So,
we're talking over Sarah's head. Sarah don't remember all these old shows that.
No, I watch in syndication. So
yes.
About like Gilligan's
Venus Flytrap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wasn't that his radio name? The black dude on WKRP.
Yeah.
He was Venus Flytrap. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, that's like BJ and the Bear. Cause didn't Lonnie Anderson also on BJ and the Bear?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But Lonnie Anderson, I remember. Yeah. So
was she married to Burt Reynolds
for a while? Yeah,
I thought she was. Yeah.
So something about them too.
Yeah.
But that's like Burt Reynolds and Clint Eastwood was both let go from the same studio because the studio told them, "Oh, y'all have a plain look. You'll never be a big star." and they let both of them go at the same time. I'm like,
nice.
The guy who ever come up with that idea that neither one of them would make it. Because Clint was with. I just saw a thing on him talking about he was married, but then he got with a girl that he did Any Which Way But Lose, Any Which Way But Can.
Sure.
And Outlaw Josie Wells. And
I remember her. He's still married to her, is he not?
No.
I think they split up and then got back together or something. I thought.
Okay.
The gal from Outlaw Josie Wells.
Yeah, I remember she was kind of a waifish, young, pale, blonde girl. And,
right.
In Outlaw Josie Wells. And,
real plain.
Yeah, and I can't remember. I want to say,
but like in a really gorgeous kind of way. It's weird.
Yeah. And so I think they're still together.
But
I thought that's what happened, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, his son that played in Fury looks just like a young Clint Eastwood.
Who?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood.
Scott Eastwood. He looks a lot like his.
Oh yeah, he does.
Well, but like you see him for all of 2 seconds in Fury, where you really need to watch that kid is The Outpost.
The
Outpost. I think he plays Clint Romachet in that movie. The guy who won the Medal of Honor there at the Battle of Cop Keating. Dude does a fantastic job.
See you, Rudy dog.
Looks just like his dad.
He's off to bed. Venus Flytrap. Anita looked it up. Tim Reed, Venus Flytrap. So, that was a good show. And of course, Howard Hessman, he played Dr. Fever.
Yeah.
Where did everybody remember his first movie? I think it was his very first movie. Do you remember what that was? In the 60s, 1967 or 68. It came out. Very famous movie, a cult sleeper classic. Low budget.
Night of the Living Dead?
Billy Jack.
Billy Jack.
He played one of the school teachers at the Indian school in Billy Jack, Howard Hessman. And
do you have any idea how often when I'm talking to people about they ask me about making a hat, like one-on-one at work.
They want a Billy Jack hat?
Well, right. I'm like, well, I'll probably, give it to you open crown so you could shape it. They're like, open crown, like, yeah, without all the stuff in it. And they're like, oh, like that movie with that guy who was Native American.
I'm going to put this foot. I'm going to put this foot on that. I'm going to put this foot on that side of your face, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop me. Oh, yeah, is that right? So, when I was in high school, none of us had money to buy a Billy Jack hat, but a bunch of us guys, we would wear jean jackets, Levi jean jackets, and black t-shirts. You're looking very Billy Jack tonight. So, and we got the professor as well. Welcome, Professor.
PB, just like
Good
peanut
evening.
butter.
PB.
peanut butter. Don't forget the jelly.
That's right.
And make it grape. It can be strawberry, but grape is good.
You know,
Concord,
my comfort food, somebody asked me, my comfort food most of my life has been PB&J on squishy white Wonder Bread with strawberry preserves and Skippy peanut butter.
Yikes.
That is the best. And an icy cold glass of milk. Just this side of Arctic icy glass of milk.
Remember, it's got to be Smucker's, right? It's got to be Smucker's jelly or jam.
I actually
Welch's.
like Welch's is good.
Yeah.
Yep, Welch's is my favorite.
I like
All
a
of
brand.
you-
I don't even know what the brand is. All these years buying it, it comes in the little jars.
All of you guys are heathens because everybody should be using Polaner all fruit.
Oh,
fruit.
Planner.
Not
Please pass the
jelly.
jelly. That ad from like 20 years ago. Please pass the jelly.
We couldn't afford that.
No.
Yes.
Do you guys remember all the great breakfast cereals, right? You had
Yes.
Cocoa Puffs and Rice Krispies,
And vitamin.
right? And one of my favorites was Cheerios. And
That was your favorite?
it was one of my
That was
favorites.
like Captain Crunch. That was my favorite. What was your favorite cereal? Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries? How about you? Boo Berry? How about you? Fruit Loops? How about you, Professor Bauer? Oh, Cheerios, of course.
Well, I got to tell you, those are basically donut seeds, right? And
Yeah.
and one
Without
of
the
the things that,
frosting.
one of the
Bland.
things that I remember doing was it always took at least not a teaspoon, not a tablespoon, the next big size spoon
Oh.
The serving spoon.
of sugar, just poured all over it. And I even remember a number of times just taking a great big mouthful of sugar.
You know what you had to have was at the bottom of the milk in the bowl, you had to have the like ocean sea bottom surface sludge of sugar.
It was the little
the bottom.
sand berm of
I could
sugar.
stand
Yeah,
my spoon up in it.
absolutely. That's
Eating
what
that during your developmental periods, that explains a lot.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
just going to say. I mean,
Yes.
there's a whole bunch of answers there without even asking the question. But so there was Captain Crunch. Remember Fruit Loops, right?
Yep.
Lucky
I
Charms.
always like Fruit Loops.
Lucky Charms was one of my favorites because I love those little marshmallow
Lucky Charms.
things.
It's magically delicious.
Magically delicious.
Why
and
does everybody
then
always laugh when I say that?
and then, Frosted Flakes, right?
Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
And Wheaties. Yeah. All the great
Sweeties.
Wheaties was a good one. Although
You know, when we were kids and my mom would come home from grocery shopping and we would find the cereal and she'd get like corn checks and we're like, oh,
oh yeah,
deflated corn checks or Rice Krispies or Cheerios or, the worst was wheat checks.
oh those were terrible. Yeah,
Mom,
Well, this
we
just
asked you to get some
confirms.
cereal.
you could build a house with that shit.
Sugar Pops. Oh, remember everything that was sugar in the name? Sugar Pops is now Corn Pops.
Yeah.
Sugar
The worst
Frosted
one for me
Flakes.
was
is
grape
now-
nuts. Because that
Yeah,
one was
grape
terrible.
nuts. Yeah.
Oh, grape nuts was good, but the other one I really liked was Raisin Bran.
I love raisin. I have a box of Raisin Bran upstairs, right?
Oh,
now.
that was good stuff too.
This
I like
just
Raisin Bran.
confirms for me I was apparently a weird kid because I always got excited when Dad would go to the store, he'd pick up whatever cereal I liked and my brother liked, and he'd get himself a box of Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Oh, crackling oat
Well,
bran.
isn't it a muesli and Weetabix up there?
Muesli. Yeah.
I think I told the story before with Scotty. One time I remember we was at the grocery store and I kept telling my mom, I won't. She's like, well, when you get old enough, you buy any goddamn cereal you want. You're not getting all that. And then I thought, later on, I was walking through the store. I'm thinking, I could buy any goddamn box of cereal I want.
I can buy whatever I want.
And I get down to there, I realized I didn't want none of it no more. I thought, now that is a fucking untundrum right there. I got money in my pocket. Nobody's going to tell me no. I got adult money. I can make adult decisions, and I don't even like cereal no more.
We'll see.
I
No.
thought, damn.
No,
I don't
no.
remember the last time I had cereal, but let's switch to sandwiches. What were some of the best sandwiches? I remember, of course, the PBJ, the Wonder Bread, squishy, spongy type stuff was quite popular.
Braunschweiger. Braunschweiger sandwich.
Braunschweiger. Oh my God.
Yes, I love those still to this day.
Isn't that next to liverwurst? Or the same kind of stuff?
I think it's the same kind of stuff. That was like delicacy when I was a kid.
Well, speaking of
Braunschweiger.
Speaking of strange meat, I'll share with everybody that
stop talking about Jason like that.
I gotta step away.
He's got to step away.
I was doing some research today, and I found a great online sausage place, and I'll send you the links.
Oh, please do.
Come on, you missed that.
You missed it.
I'll send you the links.
Sausage links. Here's the joke. Here's Scotty's head.
These are the jokes. These are the jokes. Sandwiches. Yeah, it was Braunschweiger. It was Braunschweiger or PB&J.
Mine was grilled cheese and tuna, and not together.
We'll see.
Two separate ones. But my grandmother made up her tuna with a lot of mayonnaise and sweet relish. And to this day, I love me a good tuna with mayo and sweet relish.
I will say this. Grilled cheese almost leaves the category of sandwich or sandwich because you got to cook it. A sandwich, you don't have to cook.
That's true.
You could have a cooked grilled cheese. I get it. You know what I like? And I just made it the other day. Rainey had made a roast in the pot with the steam.
Crock pot?
What the heck? Not the crock pot. Yeah. The steamer.
Pressure cooker.
Pressure cooker.
Yeah. The bomb on the outer stuff.
Yeah, that's the other synapse crossing the fire.
Yep. Randall in the chat just tossed in another favorite: bologna,
ham, and cheese. But you know what I made? I take the leftover roast beef, the shreddy kind of roast beef, you shred it all up and you chop it all up into little pieces, and you put it in a dish. You put in mayo, and you put in mustard, like a Gulden's mustard, a brown mustard, and you put in you chop up a bunch of dill pickles, little tiny chopped up, and some dill pickle juice out of the jar, brine, and you mix that all up. You can put in onions if you want. I don't usually do onions, but that's the best stuff. When you get the right level of mustard in there, it's perfect. And I don't measure anything, so it's just
okay. I'm throwing one out there. BLTs.
Yes, BLTs. Yes. Yes, John.
That is a major favorite right there. Again, mayo with lettuce, tomato, and bacon on it. And what did you do with the bread?
We toasted it, yeah.
You did toast it, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sarah, what do you like? What's your favorite sandwich?
Let me think. Give me a minute. I'll think of one.
Okay.
Well, while she's thinking, I can
cheese with mustard, says Roger Rabbit.
Oh God.
On Wonder Bread.
Head
cheese. Sorry, Roger. I let go.
I can't do head cheese.
I don't do head cheese well.
No.
I'm eating the pate of some sheep's brain.
Right.
It doesn't work for me.
Well, I mean, it's part of that whole nose to tail eating. If you're going to kill an animal, eat all of it. Honor the animal.
No.
That's true.
Look, I just don't know. I just don't want to know what it is. All right.
There you go.
Gives me a hot dog, and it's like, look, I know it's pig nose and ears and assholes.
This is good pate. What is it? Oh wait, never mind. Don't ask.
So when
I'm one of those people who eats, even what most average person would consider the offcuts. Even if it's like things like beef tongue, if you prepare it right, it's even better than roast beef.
Yes.
But you got to prepare it right. That's the thing, though.
No, I have never had beef tongue or buffalo tongue.
Yeah,
I remember walking in.
Just
my mother cooking that.
You can't tell the difference in the quality of the meat. I mean, you slice it up and eat it the same way. It tastes exactly the same. It's cheaper. I mean, that's what people used to do, I guess, in the 60s and 70s.
Yes.
My first wife, when I was 21, her mom was Mexican and her dad was Italian. So her mom made every meal, and every meal had jalapenos.
All with a Latin stroke.
No, there was no Latin in it. He tried to get her to do it, but every meal had refried beans and jalapenos. And so that's where I got my taste for good spicy food. And I've always enjoyed good refried beans. But one day I went with her to the store to go shopping, and in Whittier in Southern California back in the 70s, there was a lot of, original Mexican oriented grocery stores.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to this where she gets all of her meat, and she's buying chorizo and pig's head and pig's feet. And I mean, they had it all just completely, prepared and packaged up. And I'm looking at this stuff and I said, is this what you cook with? Is this what I'm eating at night? And she says, oh yeah, that,
Oh yeah, you just had a whole bunch.
Started telling me all about all these different meals and dishes she makes. And then when I used to love chorizo and menudo soup. Talk about a hangover.
Oh, yeah, tripe and menudo. Yeah.
Oh, the tripe. I didn't know what that shit was, but when I found out what was in chorizo, which is basically the parts.
Just stop. I like chorizo. Don't kill it for me.
Don't tell
me. Brother, you don't know what's in that shit.
By the way, Randall Flagg says Jersey tomatoes on white toast. I like a good sandwich if I'm feeling like I need something a little healthier. Let's take that white Wonder Bread, swath it with Hellmann's, bring out the Hellmann's and bring out the best. Jersey tomatoes. I use Roma tomatoes and cucumbers. That's my sandwich. Tomatoes,
there is no dish that a cucumber should be in. Cucumber. Well, cucumbers are pre-pickles.
Yes, pre-pickles.
They just haven't
I think the English
yet.
might take objection to that with their little sandwiches.
Randall Flagg, I've had baked bean sandwiches too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're standing in front of the fridge. Kids are gone at school. Rainy's off at work, and I'm like, I'm hungry, but I don't want to cook. And I'm like, oh, there's some baked beans left over in the fridge. Oh, I could put a little mayo, a little Hellmann's on some bread. It doesn't have to be always squishy white Wonder Bread. That's just best with PB&J. I'll use a good 12-grain bread or something and spread it and throw those baked beans on top of that sandwich. Now you're talking. Add some onions to that cucumber tomato.
I think that's called shit on a shingle, isn't it?
Something like that.
No, that's chip beef.
Oh, that's chip beef. Okay.
Yeah.
But I figured out in the Army, it didn't matter what you have, as long as you put it between two pieces of bread, you can make a sandwich out of it.
Nice.
That's about accurate. That's about accurate right there. Yeah.
Mashed potatoes, chicken, pieces of pork chop, or what they call pork chop. So some off-color green and orange looking eggs. Just whatever you had, and you just wrapped it with the hash browns, and you just squished it together. That way it's portable, and you could just roll out.
I have the mess hall recipe, the Army mess hall recipe for
shit on a shingle,
cream ground beef from the 40s.
Oh,
and I was like,
cream
I stumbled on it, and I was like, I am saving this, and I am making this because this is delicious.
You talking about Quack Bang or the Fat Electrician? There's another guy on YouTube, and the guys that go in here and put it out. He's called Tasting History, and
Max Miller. I love him. Yeah,
because he did the shit on a shingle. He did the like the first class, second class breakfast on the Titanics, and he just did the Thanksgiving one for like the whole turkeys, because they made this whole thing about getting a turkey meal to the soldiers on Thanksgiving during World War II. And he called up his lieutenant, and he had to send down these runners. He said, "You going to send us up a hot meal that nobody can eat or want?" He said, "No, you don't understand. It's really important. It comes from Eisenhower. All these guys will get a hot turkey meal." He said, "But goddamn, we're close enough. We can share it with the Germans."
Right.
And he didn't want to have to send runners back down his hill, which turned into a shit show. But yeah, he just did that one. Like I said, what is them? But it's Tasting History.
And I think I've seen that one.
Yeah, Tasting History. Well, the
Tasting History. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's
what's this? Speaking of the Germans, what's this shit with sauerkraut?
Oh, I love it.
That has got to be the nastiest shit on the planet.
That's right up there.
Why
with
would I
kimchi.
eat it? It's sour.
No, but I mean, if you think about it, but you have to
It's
think
rotting cabbage.
refrigeration. How are you going to
That's
get your
kimchi.
vegetables? And plus, it's the addition of the probiotic thing. So I mean,
Yeah. Okay, you go with
That
that.
doesn't make it taste any better.
That doesn't make
Yeah,
it taste
just
or
because it's
smell
healthy
good.
doesn't mean it tastes good.
I mean, next to Limburger cheese, I mean, I know when I was in Europe, it was actually in Holland, and these guys were, they got a lot of Germanic influence over there, and these guys were making sauerkraut with Limburger cheese in it. And I walked into the room and I said, "Is there a Burger King anywhere around here?" I mean, good grief!
You think it's bad going in? Wait, all that coming out.
Oh my God!
Look,
talk about coming out. Last night, Rainey yesterday afternoon, she from the Dollar General every now and then gets the little bump and scratch food jars, and stuff like that. And she brought him a couple cans of soup, and it was
oh shit!
It was
I fell.
It was gumbo, chicken gumbo soup. It wasn't Campbell's. It was one of those other brands, home brand, or the kind that's supposed to be,
Cloverdale
meal in a soup can kind of thing. And so it was chicken gumbo, and she brought home like 4 or 5 cans and then 1 can of spicy chicken gumbo. And I thought, that sounds interesting. I think I'll warm that up. I warmed the spicy chicken gumbo. Now, I like spicy food, but that was a different kind of, I'm talking your language, aren't I, field guide, down there in Nolans. And so I had some spicy chicken gumbo and had a couple bites of that. And it was like, this is not good spicy. This is like taking pepper and putting it to the back of your throat. It had that feel to it. And I ate about a half a bowl of that can. And I was like, nope, not doing this, not doing it. So I couldn't eat it anymore. So I need a good
spices have been used. Go ahead, sir.
The thing is that, with modernization and, you end up with people making quick meals and TV dinners, people have lost the ability to actually cook. And then when you roll around down the generation enough and this is all you have, then the next generation think it's supposed to taste like this and it's terrible. Why did we eat that back then? Well,
my mom,
the TV dinners, about those Swanson TV dinners, the beef gravy with the peas and the something else in it.
We grew up on Swanson's Salisbury steak dinner.
There you go, Salisbury steak.
I mean,
my mom was
comparatively have the real thing. It's a completely different experience. It's like the first time when I had a properly cooked steak, medium rare. Because whenever if I wanted steak or whatever as a kid, my mom would make sure it was no pink whatsoever. Right. It had to be.
It had to be
black. It had to be shoe leather.
It's healthier for you that way.
Yeah. But I mean,
bullshit. Yeah.
What was I remember the commercial. Speaking of things that are artificial, we're so used to them, and it was Idaho real potato flakes. Made with 100% dehydrated real potatoes. And they would show people eating it, and they go, "Oh, this is pretty good." And some kid goes, he's eating it, he goes, "This is good." And the announcer says, "It's real potatoes." He goes, "Ugh, real." So yeah.
Anita said with pork chops. Pork chops, because you can get a pork schnitzel, which is like a really, really thin cut pork chop that is breaded.
Wait. Did you say schnitzel?
Schnitzel.
Jaeger schnitzel. Jaeger
schnitzel with noodles.
Wait a minute. What part of the pig is that? The
brown
schnitzel
paper package is tied up with strings.
So he's referring to Jaeger schnitzel, where it's pounded flat, and it's the pork chop basically. It's pounded flat and then breaded and fried. And then it's usually served with a brown mushroom gravy and some
sauerkraut, mashed potatoes.
Yeah, because when
that's our German pickup line at the festival.
Term for where the sun doesn't shine. But
I had 2 friends of mine that played the German Brothers out at the festival, and they did these weird songs. They did all this bit, and they were always their thing was schnitzel. They would say, "So, would you like to see me in my lederhosen? I will share my schnitzel with you." And, so it was there you go. or whatever that.
Anita,
You remember, John? You remember them?
My mom
Jeff
did the same
Shilkin,
thing.
Oh my
Jeff
god.
Shilkin, and Nate Westover.
Yeah.
They were part of 10 Seconds of Harmony with me back in the early 2000s. Then they went on to do the German Brothers. So,
You know, we started off with the sandwiches. It just popped into my head.
Started talking about feelings, and then it went into TV, into sandwiches.
There you go. Yeah, it started. We're talking about
Okay,
feelings.
all right. So
Sarah's gonna
back
keep
when we
us
first started about sandwiches, how about that? You want to get
yes.
technical? No. It kind of was playing around in my head. You know, one of my favorite sandwiches, and it's something I have not had literally. I don't think I have had one since probably a few years after I went into the Army. I went in back in 2003. But childhood memory, kind of thing from the holidays was, you know, Dad would always try to make sure we could get like a honey baked ham at Christmas.
Oh yeah.
And spiral cut. And then after the Christmas meal, I would usually sit in there with Dad and help trim everything down off the bone. So we just had stacks of slices of, you know, spiral cut ham.
Right.
May or may not have stolen a bunch of those slices during the process.
Mhm.
But white bread and honey baked ham, and that was it.
Oh,
That was just like the most satisfying
Nice.
middle of the day snack. Like I didn't need to throw anything else on it. It was like 4 slices of that on some white bread, and then just take off doing whatever.
heaven.
And yeah, and it's so simple, right? Like it's
Yeah.
there's nothing to it.
The only thing that could have made that better was home baked bread.
Right. Yeah.
How many of you grew up with your moms baking home baked bread?
Oh yeah.
That
My
and chocolate
mom
chip cookies.
Always baked home baked bread.
I don't think you knew this, but my dad delivered tasty bread. So yeah.
So you got lots of free bread at home.
well, not free bread, but we got a lot of bread.
Yeah.
Yikes.
When I grew up in Southern California, they had Helms Bakery, and Helms Bakery had trucks that were bakery trucks,
Mhm.
and they were the guy would come down the street, kind of like the ice cream guy,
Yeah.
and he would park in one
Wow.
spot, and he would open those back doors, and it would
Bake
just be
bread!
doors
Baked
of
bread.
freshly baked goods, donuts, bread,
Nice.
cakes. And that was back in, this is in Long Beach in the 60s. And we had milk delivered every day or every other day. So the bottles of milk would be on the front porch, and then the Helms Bakery guy would come down the street. And it was, I mean, the biggest, tastiest, giant glazed donuts, apple fritters, you know, all of
I like those.
big eclairs, you know.
It was
But I
before
mean,
when food trucks weren't cool.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
You
That
know,
was
when
just
I
more cool.
when we did the regiment, the 42nd Royal Highlanders, our red-coated French and Indian War era group, we do these rendezvous. And John, I don't know if you've ever been to a rendezvous, or any of you other guys have been to rendezvous, but a lot of us from Festival,
Yep.
John, just for John's sake, Bill Locken, me, Eric Nelson, Pirates, a lot of the guys who played the Pirates, we all did this
McManus
historical
too, right?
group.
Wasn't McManus in that too?
Who?
Jim McManus?
No, he was ska stuff.
Gotcha.
But Society for Creative Anachronism. And but we had these whole villages were set up with all these different rendezvousers, and it was historical, but they'd all sell their wares. And there was one guy who made elephant ears. I think his rendezvous name was Two Knives or something like that. And we took the whole regiment out one Saturday morning, and there's audience all milling about, and there's teepees up all over and tents, and all the French army and the British army and the Scots and then all the Reuben was there, and so we're wandering around, and we're marching. We march over to Two Knives elephant ears he made, those pastries.
Yep.
And we stopped, and it had snowed the night before, and not a big snow, just an early snow in early October. We had like a dusting on the ground, and so we're marching out, and we're marching through a little dusting of snow, and we start as a regiment. We had all our muskets on our shoulders, and we stopped in front of his little establishment there, making elephant ears. And the captain calls out the orders to fix bayonets, and we fix bayonets. And then he says, "Shoulder your arms." We shoulder our arms, and then we all sang "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." And when we finished, and Two Knives ran out, and he had two knives. He ran out. He was all mock. It was all in fun. And so we finished. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And then John Knights, if you remember him, John,
No,
he yells out, "Now bring us our goddamn figgy pudding!"
Nah.
And so that's what I'm reminded of with all this stuff. I don't know why. It's non sequitur. There you go.
So I'm sure most of you, Sarah, I'm not going to include you in this, but most of you had a paper route when you were
yes,
young.
I had a paper
Oh,
route.
yeah.
So I would do my paper route on my 5-speed Stingray. So I had
with the big
sissy bar and then the handlebars, the big banana bars. And I would finish that. And we had Winchell's donut houses littered all over the Southland.
Yep.
And so I'd finish by about 6:30 in the morning, and I'd ride over to Winchell's. I'd get a Bear Claw and a great big Coke, and I would sit there and dip that Bear Claw in that Coke, and it would just literally just completely re-energize me, make me feel like the world was good again.
Sugar high.
Oh, big rush.
I worked between my junior year and senior year in high school. I worked at a Winchell's Donuts, which was across the street from our school. And so I just walked to work, and that's what I did. And there were times we had and it's funny, they're still in vogue today, 40 years later. The jelly-filled rolls,
yes.
And what you do is you take that once it came out of the oven. You have a whole platter full of them, and you had the machine that had the jelly in it, and it had a little peg, a hose a steel peg that was sharpened at one end, and it was hollow, and you'd stick the donut on that and hit the pump, and it would pump it with jelly from on the inside, and you put it out, and so on. And there were times where we got in big trouble one day. Made the manager laugh, but we got in trouble. We took a tray of those and we filled them as full as we could possibly make them. It was supposed to be one pump, and you'd have the jelly in there. We'd go until that thing could hardly not be touched, lest it explode. And we'd put them into the cabinet, the case, to be sold. And we'd watch guys have eruptions while they're sitting at the tables. The best were, they took them home and you didn't get to see them. And you go, we didn't get to see the eruption, but we know what's going to happen to that person when they get home. So, we got in trouble for doing that. It's like, you can't do that. It's funny as hell, but you can't do that.
Oh, is their donuts better than Krispy Kreme?
No.
Yes.
I thought Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme is a knockoff of Winchell's.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And Winchell's was the original. They made the best donuts. And that's just my opinion. I didn't know anything about Krispy Kreme until I moved to the Southeast. And I said, where's the donut joints around here? Where's your Winchell's? And they said, what's that? We have Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme's up here, 15 years ago, and then they just disappeared. They were here for about a year, and they were gone.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and take that back.
Nice.
I represent me and my 1847 Walker.
1847 Walker.
You
might be asking yourself, how many rounds does an 1847 Walker hold?
Sometimes
you feel lucky.
6,
for the Amish
or
donuts.
is it 7?
Well,
what's that?
with
Amish donuts? What's that?
Yeah, it depends where you go, but I mean, they can sometimes rival the Krispy Kremes. At least,
Good night, Roger Rabbit.
Huge, but I mean, they're like giant Krispy Kremes.
Oh yeah, we've got a place up here called Sandy's down in Fargo, and they make some damn good donuts. And every November around Veterans Day, they do the original recipe that the Red Cross women would hand out, the donuts they would hand out during World War One. And as a veteran, I don't know. There's just
now,
something. They're very simple.
Were they baked or were they
They were
fried?
probably fried.
They were fried, but
Okay.
they weren't glazed or anything like that.
Okay.
They just came plain, and they're real simple. And I don't know, as a vet and a military historian, those things just hit different. Like,
all right, so
It's the connection.
So let's take a vote.
Exactly.
Powdered or chocolate covered donuts?
Whoa, hold on, wait. Are we talking regular donuts? Or are we talking like
just regular donuts?
What kind of donuts? We talking cake donuts? We talking fried donuts?
Regular donuts. The
what's
little
regular?
They come from Cheerios, which are donut seeds.
Okay.
So when they grow up, they become donuts, and so powdered sugar or chocolate covered.
Chocolate.
It depends.
Yeah,
I can't give you a definite answer one way or the other. At least
You'll have either one.
Anyway. Yeah.
Or I'll look chocolate covered with powdered sugar on top. There you go.
There you go.
Oh.
That sounds a lot like Wilford Brimley would be knocking on my door to talk to me about oatmeal and diabetes.
You know what that reminds me? It reminds me of, there was a little bit at the festival, and I think I told this story once a long time ago. The little bit at the festival. John, do you remember Gordy, who played this little street beggar?
Yeah, with
he's
pots
a little
and pans.
skinny guy. Yeah, he'd sit in the dirt and he'd bang a little pot on his head. Bang!
Yeah.
To get people to put coins in his thing. And he was hilarious, this guy. He went on to become, John, for your sake, Arthur Greenleaf Holmes, telling the poems. But he played this street beggar. And he talked like this. And the royal court was doing a thing at the front gate. Not the front gate, inside the front gate. And doing a show for everybody. And everybody's gathered around, and Gordy comes up in the audience. He's this beggar, and he's dirty and dusty. And he raises his hand. He says, oh, your majesties. Oh. And they call him, yes. I can't remember the character's name. And he says, I have a boon to pick with your majesties. He says, imagine my chagrin when I went to the donut house down the lane, only to find that it has been converted into a brothel. And everybody kind of laughs, and he goes, the most interesting part was when I ordered my favorite, double Dutch chocolate with sprinkles.
No. Oh, no.
So there you go.
Oh,
that was the joke for the day. And then he'd run off and go beg in the streets.
Good Lord.
Well, I do have to tell you that I was recently abducted by aliens.
Oh, we knew that.
And during my abduction, they made me wash my hands, clean my room, and eat my veggies.
Uh-oh.
Turns out I was on the mothership.
Oh God.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Where'd that 1847 go? Put him out of our misery. There you go.
Oh, he's getting serious now.
No, hold on, wait. All right.
Yeah,
there you go. There you go. Partially frozen chocolate eclair, says Rendell Flagg.
Oh, speaking of the mothership, I seen a thing the other day. A guy was doing a thing, and he said the trending thing they always track like the Google searches and stuff like that. And it was like, how do I get my car back, and why can't I sell my house? And I was going to send the professor a message, but I just felt so bad that I thought I'll catch up with him later.
You talking about using the AI?
Yeah, to see what's trending or whatever. And I was like, hell, I really need to send Professor Bauer a message. But like I said, I felt so bad that I thought, fuck it. I ain't trying to sell nothing. I ain't trying to buy nothing. I'll get up with it later.
And we have the 3-minute warning, folks. 3-minute warning till the end of the show.
Since we brought up the UFO things and the mothership stuff, there was a potential sighting of something out this way, actually.
Really?
Yeah, a few days ago there was
in the Dakotas, man.
Yeah, somewhere is either is either on the Bemidji side, which would be Minnesota, or on our side. But
You sure it wasn't a weather balloon or swamp gas?
no, they actually got stuff on security footage. What it was is you see a bright flash, there's a massive sonic boom, and then there is an object that just travels from the right side of the screen to the left side of the screen at a high rate of speed. They captured it out like by the airport. They captured some police security cameras, caught it. Some guy called into the radio that I station that I listened to, the local one. He was like, I saw that on my way from one location to the other. This place is in between them. And it's like, all right, so UFOs here in North Dakota on my bingo card. Let me see if it's on there.
There it is.
Oh no, there used to be UFOs over Minot, over the base of Minot all the time.
Oh,
Well, I mean, there are
Well,
the nukes
Minot
there.
wasn't
So.
Minot where they actually shut down the nuclear
Right. Yeah.
missiles
the
and
silos.
wow.
and they kind of went, how did
Nuclear vessels?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones at Alameda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alameda. Nuclear vessels.
Whistles?
That was the yeah.
If you all know that reference.
Victor.
Yes.
Victor.
Well, yeah, on that note, and I know we got like a minute left here, but
Yeah,
For
time you
those
to
that
launch
think-
into something.
for those that think that we're going to have some kind of World War III or some kind of
Yes.
nuclear event, it ain't going to happen.
I don't think so.
We may have little things blow up here and there, causing some local destruction, but there is no, and this is in my opinion, based on my own research and using a number of different telemetry feeds, but it's not going to happen. We are simply watching the latest act in the play of
The latest act
multiple
in the play,
movies
that's
on
what I
one
think, too.
screen. And donuts will be there in the end.
Donuts will be there in the end. Well, that's
Like
good to know.
cockroaches.
That's right. I mean,
Not bagels, but
See,
bagels.
I'm not
probably
worried
there.
about. I'm not actually worried about nuclear war. What I'm
No.
worried about is the start of it, and that Vasily actually deleted Grand Forks off of the targeting coordinates out of Russia's nuclear missiles after we were declared a formally declared facility. Hey, we don't have it here anymore. Like, I just hope that it wasn't a Friday when that happened. And they didn't delete all the lines. That's all I'm worried about.
Nice. Well,
Oh gosh.
on that nuclear note, folks, John, good to see you. He's going to take off. He gave us the salute, and good to have you here tonight.
All right. Take care,
And
Albert.
all of you, Michael, good to have you. I appreciate your being here. I'm going to start deleting you all one by one here. Good night, Michael. Get better. And John Piper, you're already gone, but thanks for being here. Love you, brother. And we've got Professor Bauer. Thanks for being here, Professor.
it's my pleasure to crash the party at any time that it needs to be crashed.
There it is. And
That's
2
all the
days
time.
from now, we'll do the same thing, day after tomorrow. So you have a good night, brother.
Thank you.
And Jason, good to see you again.
Good
And we'll
seeing
talk
you.
to you soon. And by the way, I'm on
Absolutely.
JVJ's show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. You're not Central. Are you Mountain Time or Central?
I'm on Central.
Central. 8 p.m.
Yeah.
tomorrow. I'll be on Jimmy Johnson's show.
Okay.
So tomorrow night. So I'll put
right.
up an announcement. Maybe you can
Cool.
pop in there and say hey to JV.
All right.
so
Well,
you
I
have a
will
good
try.
night,
I might
brother.
be a trip you. Have a good one.
Good to have you. Talk to you soon. And Sarah, thank you for being here as
Sure.
always. I sometimes forget you're here just because I don't see your mouth moving like the rest of the guys.
Wouldn't make a difference.
It wouldn't make a difference. So thank you for being here.
Yeah,
And,
we just wanted to let you and let everybody know that, you have people around you, whether it be a distraction or go through what we're going through together,
Yeah.
So just
I appreciate that.
keep us posted and
let's keep Ruben in our thoughts. He's still here as far as I know. He might
Yeah.
be already moving over, but we don't know yet. So
Well,
for sure.
there's only so much with those types of things. You realize how helpless that you are, and that's where faith comes in.
And it's so, what occurred to me with all this stuff with Ruben is maybe there were some other mitigating health issues, his diabetes, maybe some alcoholism, but those things I don't think were killing them all by themselves. Maybe eventually, if you don't ever get it in check. But we look at all the ways to die, and he dies because of a bathroom door that got stuck, and he banged his head into it. And and look, I already put him in his grave. He's not dead yet, as far as I know. This could very possibly be the thing that
it could be a long and slow recovery.
Could be a long, slow recovery. And I don't care if it's long and slow, as long as it's good. It's a recovery. It'd be nice.
Well, I mean, and the thing is, with faith, it's like if it's his time, it's his time.
That's it too.
Because I mean, it can be 50 million things. Could be a meteor could come and hit him in the head, or it could be a complication due to something else, or even something maybe even the doctors don't even know in his history. But when it's time, it's time, and
it's time.
Yeah, we have to adjust and accept that. I mean, our relationship, they change, but they never end. So the love that you have and the connection that you have, that's always going to be there.
Yes.
It's the same with Uncle Dave. It's the same with Ruben. It's the same with everyone. So
well, thank you for everything, Sarah.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
Anytime.
We'll talk again soon. You have a good night.
All right. Thanks.
Everybody, thank you for being here. Thank you for your friendship. Thanks for being here and being part of the show tonight. And the Captain's Cabin. It's nice when you get a bunch of people in here, isn't it? It's kind of fun. And I want you to ask you to please remember Ruben. Say some prayer for him. Meditate on it. Meditate doesn't usually, one of the differences I saw I was going to talk about tonight, meditating isn't directed at other people. It's directed at self, to cleanse self and so on. But meditation can also bring intention. And so put out some good intention for Ruben and say some prayers. I would love to see my little brother again. And so thank you all for being here. I'll keep you updated, let you know. I'm going to be on JVJ, Jimmy V. Johnson's show tomorrow night. I don't even know where to find it off the top of my head. Some of you listened to him already. He's the former publisher of Taps Para magazine. I worked with him when I was with the Ghost Hunters. And I'll be on his show tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, and all the other time zones too. So thanks for being here. We're going to get out of here. You have a good night. And that's all I got. Shalom. For peace for Israel. And live long and prosper.